All right, so Corinne, I keep hearing about inflation. What is it exactly and how does it work?
Yeah, we're hearing a lot about inflation right now because it's something that we're all feeling in one way or the other. I know for me, things that cost a certain amount a year ago are now double or triple the price. Grocery shopping has been really painful lately in ways that I wouldn't have expected this time last year. So we've experienced this. We understand that inflation is that things are just getting more expensive. So the cost of goods is increasing. And this happens, over time. If we were to look at inflation on a chart, we would notice that the prices of goods are increasing over time. And that could be a good thing, like it means that our economy is growing and that's an overall good thing for all of us. But in moments like these, it's increasing very quickly. The costs of things are increasing very fast, and they aren't necessarily keeping pace with how much money we're making. Like our income isn't growing in the same way that the cost of things that we need or want are. And that's because the Fed has increased interest rates. So, as interest rates are increased, that just makes it harder for companies or individuals to borrow money cheaply. And when they can't borrow money, it means that they're investing less in their businesses or they're consuming less, like they're buying fewer things. And that's what's causing these prices to increase is the cost of borrowing money just getting higher in recent months.
If I'm feeling the impact of inflation, should I be asking my employer for a raise to try to keep up with inflation?
You might find that some employers will do cost of living adjustments. They usually do this on an annual basis. So it's possible that that might be coming for you. And we always encourage you to have a conversation with your employer about getting paid more. If you're bringing a certain amount of value for your work, you should definitely go to your employer and ask for a raise because of the work that you're doing. So if you want to have a conversation on how to maybe approach that, we'd be happy to talk with you about that. As far as asking for a raise as a result of inflation, chances are that you're feeling the pain of the inflation already. As income increases, as the salary adjustments occur, it's usually after many months of prices going up. So it's not going to be a quick remedy for what you're experiencing. I think really the thing that you have the most control over in these kinds of periods of high inflation is to get a better handle on your spending. It might be one of those times where you just have to get a bit more savvy about how much you're paying for things. Maybe you want to revisit your budget and look at areas where you can reduce some of those categories of spending, so in that way your income can go a bit further than maybe what it did before. But yeah, I mean, I think that talking to an employer about a raise when it's warranted in general is always something to pursue. And then maybe have the conversation too, like, are you doing a cost of living adjustment this year? Just so you know if you can anticipate it. But meanwhile, getting a hold of your budget and trying to reduce expenses in the areas that you have control over is something that you can do right away.
Yeah, that all seems like it makes a lot of sense. Is there anything else that I can be doing about inflation?
I think just having faith that these things come and go. Inflation is a necessary evil that's part of how our economy operates. And there will come a time, if history is any indicator that we won't feel this so rough as we do right now. So just have faith that this will pass and do what you can now within your personal finances to not let it impact your goals in any way that's too significant. It might be uncomfortable, but we can still make really great progress with our financial plans in times of inflation. We might just have to get a little bit more scrappy.
Yeah, so are there any like big decisions that I should hold off on while inflation's high? Because I know you said like the expectation is that at some point, we don't know when, but at some point it's going to go back down. are there, I'm thinking about like, I keep hearing about mortgage rates with home purchases, or maybe if you want to do like rebalancing to your 401k, like we talked about. Like, are there any big financial decisions that we would want to hold off on while inflation is at a high point?
Yeah, I think there are. When prices are going up on things like homes or cars, we do want to be a little bit more calculating in whether it's the best time to do that. If you do have a goal of purchasing something or making a big move in your personal financial plan, that's a great time to sit down with one of us and to do that analysis of, does it make sense to do this at this time, despite the fact that costs are going up, despite the fact that borrowing money is expensive. Maybe you're going to need a mortgage for a home, is now the best time to do that. And for some people, the answer might be yes. Like for some people, it might make total sense to go forward with those purchases, go forward with those plans. And for others, it might make sense to wait a little bit. So I think that that's just a really specific thing that depends on the circumstances. And that's a really great time to contact one of us and sit down with a financial planner to go through those decisions together.